Oh, what is up, guys? Bitcoin has crushed a new high over the weekend. Yes. Happy new all-time high to those of you who celebrate. If you don't celebrate, seek therapy. Simple. Look, here's the deal. We got big moves across the market right now. Nice moves for Bitcoin. Interesting things going for altcoins. I got charts to talk about. We got we got some macro juicy stuff to talk about, guys, and answering your questions in the second half of the stream. So make sure you stick around for those good times. Now, let's go ahead and hop straight into things. Got a lot of big news to cover. So, Geiger Capital, Japan's Nikkei up 4% to a record high. That's a big move for the Japanese stock markets, by the way. Nationalist Sanae Takaichi is set to become Japan's first female prime minister and supports pro-stimulus economic policy. Yeah, baby, let's go. Boom. Boom. Japan's about to run it hot, baby. Oh, yes, as Geiger Capital says, the entire world is running hot. Oh, man, the next crash is going to be so epically bad. It's going to be crazy. You combine just absolutely overheated economies, overheated markets with AI apocalypse for jobs. But that's later us problems. We got to think at least a year to go until we start seeing the big cracks appear. Until then, I mean, goodness gracious, Japan's going to run it hot. Japan has not run it hot in a very long time, okay? Japan's about to go crazy, man, with the stimulus. They're going to stimulate that economy. Lots of economies getting stimulated right now. It's a stimulating experience. Fantastic. Of course, the U.S. is running super hot too, so gosh darn. Let's go. Clock changes down here starting an hour later now. Still 3 o'clock in Dubai, but yeah. I remember back in New Zealand, especially when I was streaming, always the case. I was going back and forth, all the clock change BS, man. Check this out. Morgan Stanley will now advise normies add 2% to 4% crypto allocation. The big investment houses are starting to tell people, yeah, you better get some Bitcoin, you better get some ETH, you better get some Solana in your portfolios. They're not shilling dog coins. Come on, guys. That's what YouTube's for. But they're shilling serious investors, serious coins, which is going to add a lot of liquidity to the space. And that's through ETFs and all kinds of different institutional avenues. But holy cow. Donnie says we're definitely shaping up for absurdly bullish times. But the magnitude of how bullish is still incomprehensible to most participants, along with the length of time. You'll be very surprised. I'd say pleasantly surprised, but I just think the majority will paper hand this cycle and finally experience sell high, buy higher, eat a dip, sell, rebuy higher, doom loop, especially if you're an altcoin holder. Crypto will be at the center stage of the show. It's crystal clear. The highest volatility, extremely hard to contain emotions. Yeah, crypto's going to get real crazy, man. As gold keeps ripping, stock markets keep ripping. Trump's going to do stimulus. He's talking about $1,000 to $2,000 stimulus checks for everybody. Japan's doing stimulus. The rates are getting cut all over the world. It's a nasty cocktail of prices melting up. The melt up could be upon us. And I still think we get the next major local top for Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, whatever, by the end of the year. Could have a pretty big pullback consolidation point at that. Something big enough to convince everybody that it's over when it's not over. And we rip again in 2026 because the business cycle has barely started trending up. Okay. Just FYI. Gamma chain with this one. Pretty much identical to October 2020 right now. Look at that. What's interesting is that if we are in October 2020, if you were not around back then, what the hell does that mean? Well, if we are in October 2020, guess what? That means that nice move from here to the end of the year, bigger move in Q1, Q2 next year. Okay? 3 to 9 months, maybe 3 to 15 months. If this is truly October 2020, then we have October 2026 to look forward to for a market top. That would just break everybody's brains, man. Everyone's burnt out. But you know, when you start making money, you start feeling real, not burn out real quick. Let's put it that way. Will Clement here, possible we get one last dip. But the most bullish thing about this move on Bitcoin, it wasn't driven by treasury companies or perp degens. It was driven by spot ETF buying, which is likely macro funds viewing Bitcoin as rotation from commodities and small caps. Yes. Look at last week's flows. It's absolutely bonkers, crazy stuff. $1 billion on Friday, 620 million on Thursday, 670 million on Wednesday, 420 million on Tuesday and 520 million on Monday. That is a big week for Bitcoin ETF purchases. I mean, my goodness gracious. That's crazy, man. Bitcoin got up to $125,700 somewhere the weekend, just above the previous all-time high. What's interesting, may I point this out? What is very fascinating about the move on Sunday, huh? What's very interesting about that Sunday move is that normally when you have these moves to a new high, what do you have? 14 July, new high, $123,300 some dollars, immediate disgusting fat correction. Look here, August 15th, immediate giant fat disgusting correction. Today's candle, which is 13 hours away from closing, still some bullshit that could happen. Today's candle is pushing higher. We have not had an immediate reversal. The fact that today even opened in the green is noteworthy. Obviously needs to close in the green, but we could actually see the market start pushing, especially if ETF buyers in America wake up and choose violence today. If Bitcoin buyers in Japan are buying today because they know the government's going to run it hot because everything's going to the fucking moon. Anyway, let's watch. 135K is the next approximate short-term target. 150 to 160K is the next major line in the sand for the Fibonacci's on Bitcoin, which is where I expect we can see a next local top. Okay, just FYI. ETH, oh, look at this. Big thing happening right here for ETH. Check this out. Now, the volume right now is not great. Just point that out right here. Volume is not great. The volume going into the move initially was very strong, and it got us to here. The rejection at the downtrend line, okay? That's where the volume led us up to. Volume for the last few days, very muted. You can see here, very muted. So I don't love that, okay? Just FYI, put that out there, okay? Now, that being said, if we can close a daily candle above this orange line, that's a potential breakout move. That's a potential move much higher for ETH coming, maybe back up to just 5K, but still a decent move here coming for ETH potentially if we can close above this orange line. Okay, so let's see how the next few days play out. Of course, I'll just share the trades I've got open currently. Where are we at here? I was thinking about doing an ETH trade earlier because I like that chart, but I thought, you know, if I do it, I'm gonna put like 10x leverage on it or something, man. Anyway, you can see current trades. Pengu trades still basically break even, $50 and unrealized profit and loss. Fantastic. Aster trades still looking decent. We had a big sell-off after they announced the airdrop over the weekend. We're still in profits on this. Take profit is still at 250. Let's see if we can get a rally into the Binance listing here in a couple days. Solana trade, that's the swing for the fences trade. It's still open. We'll see how we go over the next few months here. Of course, if you want to sign up to Bait Unix and join me trading, link down below. Long the rip, short the dips. Have a good time. Deep liquidity, no KYC, no VPN. Question you have to ask yourself, will you switch over to an exchange that's finally going to support you, respect your privacy, and give you insane sign-up bonuses? The answer should be yes. Link's right down below. When you sign up, put in $2,000, you get $400 back. Put in $10,000 first deposit, you'll get $700 back as a deposit bonus. That's crazy. Crazy trading bonus as well. And we're giving away $1,000 every day in the live stream. So you can see right now we've got a lot of people signed up here. We've got 646 people currently signed up for the giveaway. Now, you can see there are a lot of transactions here of deposits, people, I think, just trying to game the system. So what we've done today, I had Grok already run this for us. I was going to run it on stream, but it took 3.5 minutes to run. So I thought, you know, you can see the evidence here of me running this. We uploaded the CSV file from this spreadsheet. Told to choose 2 winners from the spreadsheet from column B, but only those the value greater than $110. So anybody who deposited less than $110 is excluded from this giveaway, excluding last week's winners of 150, 188. So that gives us a winner of this guy right here. Let's find that dude real quick. Here, so this guy 818969134, you have won an extra $500 on top of your $400 you're already getting for your deposit bonus. Good job, congratulations. And this dude here, Here, this guy put in $4,000, so he got some nice deposit bonuses and an extra $500 coming back. Not bad. Congratulations to today's winners. Okay, let's keep going. So, link down below. Go check it out. So, look, check this out. Excited to be partnering with Samsung. This is from Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase. Excited to be partnering with Samsung to make crypto even more accessible. We're offering 75 million plus Samsung Galaxy users in the USA free access to Coinbase One to bring them on board. And we fully integrated with Samsung Pay, so every Coinbase user in the US can now use that to buy crypto. Yes. Yes, Brian, bring them. Bring them. Somebody has to buy the top, and it's not going to be you. It's not going to be me. It's going to be those guys. It's just the way it is, man. It's the way the game's played, you know? Interestingly, this has been like the quietest. His forehead down here. It's CZ. Interestingly, this has been, I swear, the quietest Bitcoin all-time high ever. I mean, does nobody own any Bitcoin anymore? Everybody's already flipped it all into shit coins? I don't know, but it's been crazy. Very quiet Bitcoin all-time high. Institutions still mega stacking. They're going to flip on the switch when they want retail to come in and buy their bags at the top. Make no mistake about it. That time has not come yet. Look at the Coinbase app rankings. Now, when Coinbase app is like number in the top 5 for finance apps, and particularly in the top 10 for all apps, then you know shit's getting crazy and the top's near. Currently, we are nowhere close. Nowhere close, man. A long way to go. Oh, this one hits hard. This is for you. He said, my advice to myself would be just this. I think people would, surprising a lot of people, which is just buy Bitcoin. Store it away, don't sell anything, and don't do anything else related. This is Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, by the way, okay? I said, just sit on and be anonymous. That would be my advice. So don't follow in your footsteps, says the lady. Creating Litecoin did not really make me more money. I mean, he made a few $100 million out of it, but you know, he says a lot of a headache. But if you just put all that money into Bitcoin. So yeah, if you just buy Bitcoin, stay anonymous. That's the thing. Literally, the founder of Litecoin saying like, yeah, Litecoin's a big pain in the ass, man. Charlie Lee, one of the best ever to do it. I tell you, cashed out for hundreds of millions of dollars. Probably. We don't know exactly. At the top back in 2017, my man. Litecoin struggled ever since. Anyway. Grayscale spot Solana ETP has just been approved. I just saw that like 2 minutes before I started the stream. We're going to talk about it. Lark told you to add more BNBs 2 weeks ago. Did you do it? This is Morlock. Okay, it's here. Morlock, I did not. Can't own every coin, man. I celebrate your wins. I hope you win. I hope it goes to $10,000 or some absurd number like that and make shit tons of money. Remember to sell and take profits at some point. I did not. Can't buy every coin. I think I've got plenty of exposure to big caps. You know, Solana versus BNB right now. I mean, is there really going to be a dramatic amount of differentiated upside between those two coins? I don't think so. Cerebro is dead. Cerebro went to zero. The dev is now a woman somewhere, allegedly. Anyway, Litecoin, check this out. Chart's still looking pretty decent. Charlie Lee, man. Charlie Lee. Look, Litecoin's going to get an ETF. Litecoin is probably going to do pretty well. I'm still not the world's biggest Litecoin fan. I'll trade the chart. Don't get me wrong. But Litecoin, man. I tell you, when even the dev bails out. Anyway. Check this out. We've broken up over this shorter term downtrend line. So that's not too bad. I say if you zoom back a bit, though, the real tricky part's going to be probably more like this line. It's not even a very perfect line. I think the real critical thing here for LTC is to get over this orange box right here. Anything under that's just moving the deck chairs around the Titanic, so to speak. You know, until you get a real breakout on this sucker beyond this orange box. Don't know. Not super interested in the Litecoin trade currently. I'm not anti-Litecoin. Don't get me wrong. Okay, we can trade Litecoin. It's like I've said, man. If you give me a liquid market on dog shit, all right, and a good chart, we're gonna trade that, man. We're going to trade it. Don't worry. Especially if they're buying it back. The dog's going to buy back the dog shit. It's going to be fantastic. That makes the top shit right there. Anyway, Litecoin, jokes aside, Litecoin, that I'm watching for the big breakout. Okay. If you're a big Litecoin bull, your day in the sun will come, likely to cycle when those ETFs get approved. Zcash, still, people are still pumping it. The RSI is still blisteringly overbought in the 90s. It's wild, absolutely wild stuff here for Zcash currently, $165. I think with the RSI being this wild, oh my goodness, with the RSI being this wildly overbought, it will come back down to earth pretty hard at some point. Again, you can see that all previous major parabolic run-ups by Zcash have met with pretty catastrophic drops afterwards. Okay, not saying it's going to be an immediate thing. I'm not trading Zcash currently. Still a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people trading, which is why I bring up the chart today. But if you really are a Zcash mega bull, then man, watch for a decent pullback on this thing. Okay. Even the breakout targets, you know, if we were looking for like I'll put it on the weekly chart, it might be a little easier to see like that. Even the weekly RSI is literally at the all-time high, never been higher. Maybe the first week was higher. Anyway, no, this is the oldest one here. It's all the way back to when it came out for like, I don't know, 10 Bitcoin per Zcash or something like that back in the day. Now it's like 0.001 Zcash per BTC, whatever ratio. Anyway, these would be the big numbers to get over right here. You see these big previous humps here, $200, probably a pretty critical level. Price resistance here, support here, support here, support here. So if you really want to see a big breakout move with some potential move up to $1,000 or something crazy like that, you got to see it take out $200 definitively. Okay. Solana, keep moving. Okay. Solana maintaining our uptrend. This is our orange uptrend line right here. We are maintaining that. If you get an EMA retest at the 20-day here, about $220, potentially a buying opportunity before it bounces higher, of course, assuming the trend continues upwards. Okay. RSI has cooled off a little bit, which is what you want to see. You don't want to move too hard, too fast. MACD still in an uptrend, which is a positive momentum indicator for us. So targeting previous highs at least, but I think if we get a bullish Q4, Solana could go to $440, which is the big Fibonacci target for us. Credible guy wrote this. This is pump.fun. While the trenches are dead. This is, bring up the image here for you. Look at this. They're doing $1.5 million, slightly more, $1.5 million a day in buybacks every single day. And this is, again, Binance Smart Chain season's happening right now. The trenches are dead. Bitcoin dominance is wavering around as BTC hits new all-time highs. And there's all these other big events like Aster sucking money out of the market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Solana has not hit all-time highs. Major memes have not started running yet. Okay. Think about it. 2% of pump circulating supply each month is being bought. Annualized, let's just say 1.5 million. Okay. That equates to about $500 million, actually, probably slightly more. And that's not even based on the real numbers. We're just rounding it down to 1.5 million. It's $500 million a year, which is an insane amount of buyback pressure. Okay. I think pump is probably one of the most mispriced opportunities in the market right now, which is why I've even been buying more recently. On the recent dips and buying more. DeFi into this one here. So my pump thesis is simple. Pump is 1/7 of Hyperliquid's valuation and generates over half its revenues. CT is biased against meme coin launchpad, so it's proven to be sticky. It's fair for Hyperliquid to trade at a larger premium, but that's still priced in even if Pump were a quarter of its valuation. Pump still dominates the launchpad sector with 84% of the market share. Crazy stuff. 20-day EMA retest in progress right now. If you are a Pump bull, you want to see this line hold currently. Now look, what you don't want to see happen, just by the way, is this. You don't want to see this happening, right? It's always the fear on any breakout. Every rally climbs the wall of worry, right? So we've broken out of the shorter term downtrend, but now what do we need to do? Now we need to maintain the uptrend, which it's currently doing. Okay, so if you are looking for a long position on this, especially if you want to trade it on like 2-3x leverage or something like that, Look at where we are right now. Right at the 20-day EMA, right at the approximate. It's pretty non-serious line I've drawn here, but basically we're at the uptrend line as well. 20-day EMA and uptrend line retest. That is a place where, you know, could make sense to bid. MACD's not showing a lot of strength currently, which is not fantastic, but that sentiment can change around pretty quick here as well. So if you were to bid in this current zone, a stop just under the 20-day EMA might make sense. So it's around 0.0065 right now. Stop around 0.006 might make sense on that. Maybe I'll put that trade in later. Pengu, I still think it's one of the better memes in the market. Currently sitting around the 20-day EMA. Almost got stopped out on this trade over the weekend. Didn't quite get stopped out. Let's see. Once Bitcoin chills out a little bit, a lot of these altcoins are probably going to have a decent run. Aster here as well. Got down to $1.74 over the weekend. I think my stop loss is $1.73. So just missed it on that one too. Now we're back decently in profit. I want to see this thing run back and hit some new all-time highs. I feel like it's had its correction phase now. The initial hype is over. A lot of people exited positions here. A lot of airdrop sell pressure will come up. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think short-term, that 250 target could play out. If not, we get stopped out and say Levy. Hey, guys, by the way, if you're not signed up to the newsletter yet, get signed up to the newsletter. Best damn newsletter in the whole crypto business. Right down here. It's free. You can go check it out. We share all kinds of insane alpha. For example, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we shared Punk Strategy as one of our DGen plays of the day. It's up to like 11x, 12x, something like that since that point. So a lot of great research going into these newsletters. They're free. You can get them to your inbox. Go check it out. Link down below. Okay, so where's the hat? The hat's coming. The hat's coming. Hat's coming, guys. We only do hat for Q&A time. Hold on a second. I gotta get some water, man. My favorite naive water. Let's go. The best. Okay. Hydrate, hat. We got it, man. Okay. 170,000 weekly subscribers now. By the way, we're doing pretty good. Thank goodness I slept on Saturday. I would have panicked it, pulled back from 8 cents to just down below 4. Probably panic sold. I'm not sure which coin you're talking about, but man, sometimes sleep is like a superpower. You wake up, you say, what happened? Oh, price is the same as yesterday. You get to the time when everyone's panicking, like, oh, there's a giant dip overnight. Classic. Yeah, shoot short mooding when the time comes. Maybe. Might be other better shorting opportunities. The higher they go, the better they are to short. Let's put it that way. It's sparkling. It is sparkling. Avion sparkling today. Delicious. VeChain will be the biggest gainer this month. Changed my mind. Maybe. I feel like VeChain, they try, man. Hats off to the VeChain guys. They try, but man, a lot of these older layer ones are just not getting the love right now. Okay. XRP still sucks, but yeah, a bit of a delay on some of the comments here. There we go. XRP still sucks, but you know, I feel like this is the thing. I'm not an XRP hater. I really don't care. You know, like you guys, again, invest in whatever you want, trade whatever you want. By the way, you can see my portfolio disclosures right down here in the description on YouTube and in the pinned comment over on X. All my current holdings and a risk disclosure. Investing in crypto is risky. You can lose all your money. Past performance is not equate to future performance. Okay, that's just one. All right. Now, here's the deal. What's interesting with XRP is back when I first invested in XRP, and so it's back in 2017, so the first altcoins I ever bought. I have not held it in years. I've got a perpetual position open like 3x leverage over on Femex for it, but with a target sell price of $4. But here's the deal. When it launched back then, its value proposition really made sense, right? Made sense. Okay, we're going to do these, value transfers between banks, make, crypto into TradFi rails, big partnerships, blah, 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 stable coins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, sure. Now, I know they got the partnerships and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I know RLUSD's been gaining adoption. That's fine, right? But I feel like the current valuation of XRP is like wild, realistically. I mean, there's a lot of much lower market cap competitors that are doing very similar-ish things, not exactly the same things, but let's say similar-ish things like Plasma, for example. Still right in that space, stablecoin transfers, stuff like that. And I know it's not exactly what XRP's use case is, and they're starting to bring real assets on chain and stuff like that, and they're expanding the use case. I get that. I just feel like if you're really sold on that, like, liquidity layer argument, that there's probably more interesting plays out there for a spot holding. I feel like, based on current adoption metrics and stuff like that, don't know. I wouldn't have a big spot bag of XRP, at least not at this point anyway. Plume is a grift, says Jesse. Certainly the token price has left a lot wanting. I sold mine for pump. Haven't looked back since. It's been a good feeling. Wormhole is still in my portfolio. Yes, Jason. Still in my portfolio. I have been thinking about Wormhole. I like it. That's obviously very good tech, and it's very used, very adopted. The question now is how much value can they drive back to token holders, right? That's the tricky part. Currently, if you stake your W, you get 4% staking reward, which is okay, right? But it's also not fantastic. You really need bigger revenues, right? And I know they got a bunch of stuff cooking that could have a much bigger effect on the revenues and send the prices a lot higher. So let's see if that can play out or not, okay? Naked Red, you can ask again. I sometimes I don't see questions straight away and they come up, or they just get buried with all the other stuff. Let me bring this up here. Avantis, AVNTUSD. Do you see a good reversal on Avantis? I mean, the price going back up reversal. The tricky thing about Avantis, and where is it about? It needs to go about 140% to get back to its previous all-time highs. Fantastic. I saw somebody talking about Avantis like here when it's like 30 to 40 cents. Like, new perp decks, like, nothing new under the sun. How many perp decks have launched in the past couple of years? But then the Aster thing happened and perp decks has got super in fashion all of a sudden. But the one thing that kind of stopped me from getting into Avantis even then was that the token currently isn't fantastic, okay? There's no value captured for token holders. No, really. Like if you're going to hold the Avantis token, I'm not saying that not talking about a trade. Currently it's sitting like right at 20-day EMA. You retake the 20-day EMA, sure, it can pump again, especially a little hype going on currently. And it's probably a really good one to farm, right? If you want to farm a token, Avantis is probably an interesting one to farm. So go and trade on Avantis. You'll get some tokens, all that kind of stuff, right? But for a long-term spot holding, until they bring in buybacks, which I don't believe, I haven't seen anything to say that they're going to do buybacks yet. And maybe they will. I know there's been some speculation about it. So maybe that happens. But right now, the Avantis token is kind of just not capturing any value, right? And compare that to something like Pump or Hyperliquid or Aster as soon as they announce buybacks, which have been, they've said they're going to do them. They just haven't announced when that's going to start happening, what percentages and stuff are going to be. But yeah, there needs to be something bringing value to the token. And currently, I don't think Avantis has it, okay? What's going on with CRO? CRO, man. The crypto.com, shout out to the crypto.com guys, man. Those guys just keep making it happen for their coin. Price right now, not doing a whole lot. Had a big pullback. This right here is when the Trump digital asset treasury company thing was announced. They're going to buy billions of dollars worth of Kronos. And it ran from, 15 cents to 40 cents or whatever in a few hours. So that was good. Since then, it's had a major pullback, which is fine and normal. It's always the case with these big news-driven stories, isn't it? Broken out over here a few days ago, currently sitting right at the 20 and 50-day EMAs. So like, if you think about just a straight up risk reward kind of long trade here on this, it's not in a bad position, okay? MACD momentum is curving upwards very slowly, which is fine. The parabolic rises like with Zcash actually make me more paranoid. If you're looking for a slow grind, maybe CRO is going to be the ticket. It's broken out its downtrend. It's currently sitting at key EMAs, so you could, in theory, long it here with a pretty easy invalidation point. So long it at 20.5 cents or whatever, and have an invalidation at like 19 cents or something like that. So if the trade goes against you, markets go down, we lose the key EMAs, you can get out with a relatively light scratch versus hold a big spot bag if we see the markets go down. But markets are likely to go up in Q4, so CRO could be a good one. And I don't think any of the buys have started from that treasury company yet, from the Trump treasury company. So probably a shit ton of buy pressure still to come on Kronos, and it could be an undervalued opportunity from that perspective. Okay. Polkadot, man. It's one of those abusive relationships you get into in crypto and you stay in for way longer than you think you should. Yeah. It's a classic example. You got a lot of tokens staking your DOT, 10% APY. What a great value proposition. But it's always the kind of case. Well, you're getting 10% APY in your tokens, but the tokens just go down in price. So that's problematic. Yeah, look. Yeah, it's going to get an ETF. When it gets an ETF, dozens of other coins are going to get ETFs at the same time. And it doesn't, new liquidity doesn't really fix Polkadot's problems of delivering tech too slowly and too much inflation and spending all their treasury on all kinds of silly stuff and so on and so forth. I don't know if the ETF is going to be the tipping point for Polkadot. I doubt that it will be, considering a lot of other stuff's going to come at the same time. When everything pumps, it'll probably pump too, because I guess why not? I feel like there's dramatically better things to invest in the market that are not Polkadot. Like, honestly, tell me why you'd buy Polkadot over Pump. Polkadot over Linea. Why not Linea? Linea is worth a fraction of what Polkadot's worth, but it's got better tokenomics. Should I live in a tent, stack Bitcoin and Solana? Yes. This is tent advice. Go live in a tent. Yes. And then stream it, man. Make videos every day. Talk about your tent life. You could be out there chopping down trees and, fishing, whatever, and make YouTube videos of it all. And then, put the ad revenue on, and then you get money from the ad revenue, use it to buy more Bitcoin and Solana. Smart. Okay. Pengu or Pepe? I feel like Pengu over Pepe these days. I feel like Pepe has definitely lost a lot of mind share recently, and the price action has been pretty disappointing. Ask yourself, buy Solana or X token? Only the answer is Sui. Sui's probably one of the better breakout sort of alternative layer one coins of the cycle. Very hardworking team, all right, doing all the right things. So I could definitely see that going on a nice run, right? We charted up here before. I think Sui's will have a big comeback, and people will be talking about it as the new paradigm of finance once again, as they always do with all these coins. This time feels different. Yeah, zero excitement. One of the quietest all-time highs for Bitcoin ever, because retail is, I guess, doing sports betting and watching Taylor Swift concerts and shit. I don't know. It was a ZBCN. Is that the one? You guys keep asking me about this Zebek coin. I have no idea what it is. No idea what it does. It's up today, which is fantastic for all you guys who are holding it. And draw perhaps like that. Get a few more touch points. However you want to look at it, it's broken out of a downtrend here, which is nice. Can chart it up like this here as well. It's not the cleanest. Just approximately put it like that. So you're looking at a pretty decent move here on this potential triangle breakout. We have moved pretty hard, pretty fast, which means now the RSI is coming into overbought territory. Of course, things can stay overbought for a long time, and the price can go high throughout that period. Regardless, though, we are looking at a pretty decent breakout here on Zcash. I have no idea what ZBCN is or what it does or what the value proposition is or any of that kind of stuff. We're just looking at the chart, right? Chart is currently breaking out. So look at some very simple things. Where are we at right now? Resistance here. That's 0.1. Resistance here. Okay, that's where we've come up to. You want to break out beyond that level of resistance, currently where the price is at, which is at 0.05. Next level up is 0.06. So if you see a pullback to, let's say, right around in here, so either around 0.045, which we retested the sort of downtrending line. And again, it's not a perfect downtrend line, but gives you a good idea of the kind of dynamics at play here. Maybe this area right here, the previous resistance, flipping that into a support area, for example. Let's see. But when it breaks out beyond this, probably it starts running, and I would not be surprised to see it come back to challenge 0.07 again. Is that the all-time high for this coin? Again, I have no idea what this coin is. Been around since May 24, I guess. So that's a coin that looks like it's gearing up for a potential run for new highs. Price compression, triangle, breakout. Let's see. Again, I know absolutely nothing about this coin, but we're just looking at the chart. Bought some cock, waiting for AVAX to pump, so it will pump also. I do like a good cock pump. That's it's very, very good. Very good. Guys, come on. Come on now. I know what you're thinking. Clark's making the dirty jokes. It's a rooster in French. It's sophisticated. All right. COQ. Get your heads out the gutter. All right. Come on. Do you think Ondo will wake up? Probably, Craig. Ondo is definitely like the biggest player in real world assets. The problem with Ondo, and I want to buy it. I want to believe, man, like Mulder back in the X-Files. I want to believe, man. I want to believe. Smoke a man's out there telling me just buy Ondo, Lark. Just buy Ondo. The aliens are coming. Look, governance token doesn't fucking do anything for you holding it, okay? Value does not flow back to you as a token holder. That's the problem. If they were doing buybacks, if they were doing revenue shares, something like that. But instead, what are you going to do? You're going to buy it. Yes, narrative may drive it up during a real world asset hype phase. Sure. Long it when it does. Otherwise, if you're just buying spot bags, holding until they change the tokenomics to drive value back to token holders, and I like Ondo. I want to like Ondo. I want to buy Ondo. But I'm not buying Ondo, not until there's something better to drive value back to token holders. Because until then, you're really just setting yourself up to be exit liquidity for the VCs, unfortunately. Hey, you know, don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. It is what it is. Jesse's saying, Zebek, another VC grift. A lot of them. There's a lot of them out there, man. VC grift working with Ripple, yeah, sure. Look, that when we say Gooners, to be fair, again, I don't know anything about Zebek, man. But when we say VC grift, doesn't mean they're not doing stuff. Doesn't mean they're not bringing out a working product. Doesn't mean, there's not decent people behind it or whatever. Okay, that's just put that aside. The VC grift is really, pumping up certain coins and narratives for people to go and buy governance tokens, coins that don't really, it's kind of the Ondo finance conversation we're having. Ondo finance has got incredible adoption, doing all kinds of cool shit. And again, I don't know anything about Zebek, so I don't want to, overstep my criticism of it here. I really don't know anything about it. Chart looks decent. That's all I know about it. But there's a lot of partnerships in crypto that don't really mean shit at the end of the day. I've seen so many partnerships with so many coins, and none of it matters. None of it really matters. Rarely partnerships matter. I'd say 1 in 10 of the partnerships you think matter actually matter. Most of the time, it's just bullshit. Most of the time. Okay? Just that's something to realize. And the biggest winners, you know, again, and the chart looks good and it probably breaks out new highs based on that chart that I'm looking at. Okay? But again, I know nothing about the token. The question for you to ask is, why would other people buy this token in the future? What is the value accrual that I get as a token holder? Right? There's a reason why people have been buying stocks this cycle and less crypto, because when you buy a crypto coin, and the reason the meme coins are popular is because they just remove all the bullshit. Yeah, it's just a scam bullshit picture of a frog. Who fuck cares? Instead, you're going to buy like fancy VC coin where the VCs have 100x up and they're just going to keep the narrative going because they want to, you know, get their exit, which is fine. Right? The reason people have been buying stocks this cycle more so than crypto in a lot of ways is because when you buy a stock, you actually own something of value. When you buy the majority of crypto coins, you're just really donating your money to the teams and the VCs in a lot of cases. Not all cases. Obviously, there's some very much standout exceptions for this rule. But in a lot of cases, these governance tokens and stuff like that, they don't do anything. They're just bullshit. Doesn't mean bullshit can't pump. Again, like I said, give me a good deep liquidity market with a good chart on dog shit, and I'm trading that, man. I'm trading it. Okay. Is it possible for oh yeah, Steve, we forgot to actually even go back to that conversation about the Solana ETPs, which the grayscale Solana ETP with staking apparently has been approved for listing in US markets. The SEC is still open, but they're working with like a skeleton crew, limited hours or something like that. So yeah, the American government's apparently still shut down. So the SEC will be much slower to approve any of these ETFs. Now they're supposed to have moved from their official sort of deadline dates because we were supposed to get a Solana ETF final approval deadline at the end of this week on Friday. That's been sort of rescinded because they asked all the ETF applicants to take their applications out and to basically now just list their coins through the generic listing project procedures. So in theory, we should see stuff really soon, but because the SEC is closed down, we probably don't see much movement until the SEC opens back up. Okay. Ondo up after the Clarity Act, Clarity Law passes tokenized treasury. And again, Ondo's it's doing so much good shit, man. All the stocks and stuff they're bringing on chain, it's crazy, man. Yo, Victor, what's up, dude? I've been seeing some of those videos of the Outer Banks and the sort of the coastline, man. Just all these houses getting eaten away by the storms, man. Crazy stuff. Anyway, that being said, I like Pepe. Man. I'm a Pepe fan. I want to see Pepe run. I'm not sure if I can keep holding it, though. I've got a big Pepe bag. I feel like recently, you know, we had all this ETH pump and really nothing happened. That was kind of my logic for even buying Pepe in the first place. All it's going to work as an ETH beta, right? And when ETH pumps, it'll pump. Didn't happen. ETH went on a mega rally and Pepe didn't really do much at all, unfortunately. So that's been a bit disappointing, if I'm going to be honest here about the whole situation. Would have been nice to see it actually do something more substantive. It kind of didn't, which is a bummer. Chart doesn't look too bad. Price has been coiling up more on the downside of this triangle pattern than not. Probably has season run at some point. My question I've been asking myself recently looking at Pepe is it's worth what, $3.5–4 billion. Is there something else that's at a similar market cap that has more upside? Pump is still worth, Pump's worth less than fucking Pepe. Think about that's crazy, man. Is there something that has a smaller market cap or similar market cap to Pepe that might have more upside? I'm looking at some of the smaller market cap stuff. We're looking at like Pancake Swap, things on my short list of things I'm thinking about right now. Pancake Swap, huge buybacks, BSC season's on. It's only $1.5 billion market cap or something like that. So Pancake Swap, interesting. Okay. Linea, $300 or $400 million market cap, Swift partnership, big buybacks, potential could come in the future. Not very big right now, but they are doing buybacks. Okay. So layer 2, it actually has a value proposition for the token, which no other layer 2 has. So that's one. Apex, the Bybit perp dex, they're going to start a big airdrop farming campaign. The volumes will surge through the roof. They're doing 60% buybacks or something like that. So, you know, there's a lot of other things that I should probably put in money into instead of holding in Frog Coin right now. Because Frog Coin's just not getting the narrative, it's not getting the pump, and it will at some point. But anyway, yeah, continuing. Oh my gosh, 45 minutes. You know what? I think we've got to pop out there. Any legit cryptos with low market caps? Well, look, I just named some interesting names for you. They're not like super cheap, like, you know, $1,000, $1 million, or $10 million market cap coins. You should obviously do your own research. Just because I'm thinking something's interesting doesn't mean you should buy it, obviously. But go and research. We had somebody ask this question the other day in the Discord, like, hey, what coin should I buy? It's like, hey, look, we're not into this whole give a man a fish and feed him for a day thing. I'm more of the teach a man to fish, but you can also show him some decent spots to fish while you're at it, okay? So I gave a short list of coins and said, dude, go research. Now go to Grok, ask questions, challenge yourself on it. What's this token do? Why should I buy it? Blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So do that. Those names I just mentioned a minute ago, go to Grok on X, have a conversation with it, ask about those coins, and see if you see any value and you get answers out of that. Then make your own decision and build your own conviction. That's the only way you're going to win at anything anyway. Guys, you're awesome. I appreciate your time. We'll see you back tomorrow. Peace.